What really counts is how does the veteran feel about their encounter with the VA. When you go to Disney, do they measure the number of hours you wait in line, or the number, what's important? What's important is what's your satisfaction with the experience.
That was Veteran Affairs Secretary Robert McDonnell comparing long waiting lines that our nation's veterans suffer, just trying to get health care that we promise and we certainly owe them, to waiting in line at Disney World. Secretary McDonnell put out a statement late this afternoon saying that he deeply regrets if his comments made him seem insensitive to the plight of veterans. Joining me now, Tony Perkins. Tony, earlier Mr. McDonnell had an opportunity to speak, and while it was sort of a half-hearted apology, he still kind of doubled down on the notion that it's all about the experience. But I just think this goes to the point that the way we are treating our veterans, I think, speaks a lot about us as a nation.
Charles, I think you're right, and I think it's obvious from this incident that Goofy is not just a character at Disneyland. I mean, this is disgraceful that somehow we compare our veterans who have served our nation, many of them in combat who have lost limbs and are suffering trauma, to families on vacation in Disney. Look, I served in our nation's military. I know a lot of men and women who have served in the last decade and they bear the scars of the freedoms that we have fought for. And I think this is unacceptable, Charles.
Yeah.
When you look at the fact that this new secretary is supposed to fix the problems are actually worse, despite the fact they've spent $10 billion more to fix it.
My father, I was in the military, but my father fought in Vietnam, and I think it had certain scars on him for life, and it is disgraceful. And ironically, I was one of these guys who said if we bring in a private sector person, it might get better. But I think the issue is the built-in bureaucracy there, and also whoever the president is has got to give these people, no matter who runs it, the green light to make massive changes.
Correct. No question. The secretary needs to be empowered with the ability to fire people. That is a part of the problem in bureaucracy, period. But when we're talking about a situation where literally we know, Charles, this to be true, that people have died because they've not gotten the care they needed in the time that they needed to get it, we're not dealing with waiting in line an extra 30 minutes to ride a roller coaster. We're talking about whether or not someone might live or have the necessary treatment to make the quality of their life better based upon the service and sacrifices they've made.
Tony, most people who've been watching our network understand one of the big things has been the coverage of transgender bathrooms. It's a big controversy. That today in New York City was taken even a step further, because in New York City now you can choose between 31 different gender IDs. You could be a pan-gender, a two-spirit, a gender bender. There are all of these different things, and of course, people wonder, you couple this with things like safe spaces on colleges and political correctness run amok. What's the danger of this?
Well, I mean, this is political correctness gone wild. But this, people were wondering, all right, where's the president's edict on bathrooms go? Well, this is where it goes, where New York now is going to fine businesses upwards of $250,000 if they get the wrong pronoun for one of these 31 different genders. This is making it extremely difficult to operate even in the business world, not to mention the cultural. But I mean, Charles, I just have to think that at some point businesses are going to push back on this, because this is getting very costly. Yeah. If you make a mistake, you're going to pay a huge fine, and this is not something that was done by by the legislature. This is done by the Human Rights Commission that is pushing this stuff forward, and it's just lunacy.
Yeah, I hate to be the local New York City pizza shop that has to build out 31 separate bathrooms. Tony, hope to get you back next week, perhaps, and talk about this meeting with Donald Trump, you and the other evangelicals. I appreciate your time tonight.
All right, Charles, good to be with you.
Thank you very much.